Good night. Welcome back to Education Unlimited's math class. Tonight's presentation will be on an important topic in algebra called simultaneous equation. Please remember that at any time during this presentation, you may like or share the videos, or you may hit that subscribe button. I hope that you enjoy tonight's presentation, and I hope that it will help you to understand math and have a better appreciation of this unique subject. Simultaneous is an adjective meaning occurring, operating, or done at the same time. The definition reads thus, that a set of equations considered simultaneously is a system of equations. The solution of a system of equations, also known as simultaneous equations, must satisfy every equation in the system. So in other words, when we solve a simultaneous equation and we get an answer for x and an answer for y, when we plug those values into any one of the two equations, which are linear equations, the value should hold. Look at this example of a simultaneous equation. It says, or it reads, 3x plus 2y is equal to 11. The other one reads minus x or negative x, whichever you prefer, plus y equals to 3. The first thing that we'll do in simultaneous equation is to label the equations. Label the equations. If you note here, looking at the cursor, that this first equation, 3x plus 2y equal 11, we label it equation 1. The other equation, we label it equation 2. We label the equations because it makes it easier for us to understand what we are doing, and for anyone looking at our work to understand what we are doing, because it guides the process and the steps in calculation or in getting our answers. What are the various methods of solving simultaneous equations? Looking here, let us use our cursor. We realize that the first method is a method of graphing, where we can use graph to solve the equations. Another method that we can use is the substitution method, and then we can do an elimination. We can also use matrices to solve a simultaneous equation, which we will look at in later videos. But for tonight, we will only zoom in on the substitution method and the elimination method. And talking about application in maths, our previous topic was a algebra topic on substitution, and tonight we will carry that topic further as we apply it in simultaneous equations. Look here briefly at how we can utilize the graphing method to solve simultaneous equation. We look at this graph that was free-handedly drawn. The y-axis here being the vertical axis, and the x-axis here being the horizontal axis. The two equations reads 2x minus y is equal to 2, following the cursor, and the other equation reading x plus y is equal to negative 2. So the point of intersection here, this is one line, this is a line, 2x minus y is equal to 2, and the other line, x plus y is equal to negative 2. So the point of intersection here is 0 on the x-axis and negative 2 on the y-axis. So in other words, x, when we would have solved this equation, x would be equal to 0 and y would be equal to -2. Continue. Let us look now at solving a simultaneous equation using the substitution method. The equation reads, or the equations reads, 2x plus 4y is equal to 8 and x plus y is equal to 3. First of all, the first thing that we will always do is to name or label the equation. So we label the first equation, equation 1, and we label the other equation, equation 2. In labeling the equations, you can label it on either side. You could label it on this side if you like, or if it's easier, you could label it on this side. So the first step that we will utilize in solving simultaneous equations using the substitution method is a step 1 of using either of the two equations to get a value for the other. And so looking at the equations, if we're going to utilize the substitution method, it is easier for us to use x plus y is equal to 3. Sir, you will ask, why is it easier for us to use that? In using x plus y is equal to 3, we avoid any traffic as we head to our solution. This is a simpler version because it only has the variables of x and y and no constants. So we say x plus y is equal to 3. We want to find what is x. So we bring over the y, so it becomes x is equal to 3 minus y. Since we have a value of x is equal to 3 minus y, we move on to our next step, step 2, which says substitute x is equal to 3 minus y in equation 1. We would prefer to use equation 1 because in the previous steps we had looked at equation 2. So equation 1 reads 2x plus 4y is equal to 8. So we plug in the value of x into this equation. I normally tell my students, anywhere that you see x, you will put 3 minus y. So we put 2, x should have been here, but we replace it with 3 minus y. So we bracket here, we bracket here. We must remember to put back the plus sign. Plus 4y is equal to 8. Our next step here is to multiply what is inside the bracket by what is outside of the bracket. So 2 multiplied by 3 will give us 6, and 2 multiplied by minus y or negative y will give us negative 2y. We put back our plus sign here and we put back the 4y. We put back the equal sign and we also put back the 8. Our next step, we bring over the 6 so it becomes a negative 6. So whenever a constant or a variable for that matter changes or goes over the equal sign, the sign changes. So it was a 6 here or a plus 6 or a positive 6 here. It goes over the equal sign, so it becomes a negative 6. 8 minus 6 gives us 2. Then on this side, we had negative 2y plus 4y. So in other words, that is 4y minus 2y gives us 2y. 4 apples minus 2 apples gives us 2 apples. So we want to find what is y. So if 2y is equal to 2, we technically divide both sides by 2 to get y is equal to 1. Let us look at this by visualizing here quickly. So we put the 2y is equal to 2. Simple maths. We divide both sides by 2 because we want to find what's the value for y. So y, let us draw a line here. Y must be equal to 1. Quite simple. Since y is equal to 1, our next step is to substitute y is equal to 1 in equation 2. Again, we do not want no traffics, and you're in the exam, time is against you, so we use equation 2 because it's the simpler equation to use. So anywhere that we see y in equation 2, we're going to put 1. So it reads x plus y is equal to 3, but anywhere we see y, we put 1. So it reads x plus 1 is equal to 3. We move the 1 over the equal sign, so it changes sign from being a plus 1 or a positive 1 to becoming a negative 1. So on this side, the 1 is gone, so it leaves x alone. So it would now read x is equal to 3 minus 1. Simple maths. 3 minus 1 is equal to 2. So we say, therefore, x is equal to 2 and y is equal to 1. And that's an example of how we can utilize the substitution method to solve a simultaneous equation. Very simple maths here, very interesting. At any time, remember, you can hit that subscribe button, you can like, or you can share these videos. We look at the elimination method. And for looking at the elimination method, we pull from the past paper CXC June 2016. We're looking at 2B that reads solve the simultaneous equation 2x plus y is equal to 3 and 5x minus 2y is equal to 12. As I said before in the previous slides, that first of all, we name or label the equation. So we label this equation, equation 1, and we label this equation, equation 2. We must eliminate y. Sir, why would we eliminate y? If we realize it is easier to eliminate y because the first equation has y and the second equation as minus 2y. So if this equation becomes 2y here, then we can easily get rid of y and work with x. So step 1 is to eliminate y by multiplying only equation 1 by 2. So multiplying equation 1 by 2, 2x times 2 gives us 4x here, following the cursor, and y multiplied by 2 gives us y here. So we read 4x plus 2y, but 3 also multiplied by 2 gives us 6. So our new equation 1 would read 4x plus 2y equals to 6. That's our new equation 1. The equation 2 remains the same. So we put back 5x minus 2y equals to 12. So let us go a little bit further here. What now do we do? We're now going to add both equations. So we add both equations by putting the plus sign here, putting a small plus sign here also, and putting a Trying to make the plus sign as small as possible. All right, so let us go. Let us pull back the cursor again. So 4x plus 5x gives us 9x. But plus 2y plus minus 2y, which would be also 2y minus 2y, will give us 0 or nil. So we get rid of the y. And on this side, 6 plus 12 gives us 18. So it would now read 9x is equal to 18. So let us now pull back again to find out how we arrive at the x equal to. So we go 9x is equal to 18. Same principle, if we want to get rid of the 9 to find x, we divide both sides by 9. In maths, anything that is done to one side of the equation, we must do it to the other side of the equation. So we divide both sides by 9. This side divided by 9 would give us x equal, and the other side divided by 9. 9 into 18 gives us 2. So the answer there is 2. Since we have x is equal to 2, step 3 would read that we substitute x is equal to 2 in either of the two equations. But again, time is upon us. We're in the exam and we do not want any traffic or anything to take up our time. So we utilize equation 1 by substituting x is equal to 2 in equation 1. So equation 1 read 2x plus y is equal to 3, but anywhere that we see x, we're going to put 2. So x was right here, so we put 2 multiplied by 2. 2 is in the bracket representing the x. 2 multiplied by 2 gives us 4. We put back the y coming down the line, and over on this side, we put back the 3. So it would now read here, 2 times 2 is 4. So it reads 4 plus y is equal to 3. Again, we move the constant, the number 4, over the equal sign, so it becomes negative 4. Remember, whenever a constant or a variable changes or moves over the equal sign, the sign changes. So it changes from a 4 or plus 4 to becoming a negative 4. So 3 minus 4 would give us negative 1. So y would be equal to negative 1. So the solution, we write, therefore, x is equal to 2 and y is equal to negative 1. We must talk to the examiner to secure our full marks. Before we close, let us look at a simultaneous equation application. If 3 pence and 4 pencils cost $5 and 3 pens and 6 pencils cost $6, use a mathematical method to calculate the unit price of each item. So the first thing that we will do, we will use simultaneous equation to solve to get the value of a pen and the value of a pencil. The first thing that we will do is that we will say, let x represent pence. And then we will say next to let y represent pencils. Then we will write an equation. Let us change the color. So the equation would now read 3x plus 4y is equal to 5. The other equation would read 3x plus 6y is equal to 6. Then, as usual, we need to label the equations. So we label the equation. We label this one equation 1, and we label the other one equation 2. So we lay the foundation to solve this simultaneous equation. First thing that we will do, having a clearer page here, we'll put back the 3x plus 4y is equal to 5. And then the other equation would read 3x plus 6y is equal to 6. Again, we label this one equation 1, and we label this one equation 2. Okay, so here clearly this is a simple one. We can use the elimination method. Sure. Why are we using the elimination method? Because it involves less traffic when we utilize the elimination method. Both equation has in 3x, so we can easily get rid of x. So we will utilize the first step, although I will not write it down because the space doesn't gives us that option. So we subtract equation 1 from equation 2. So we subtract all the way. 3x minus x would give us 0, and 4y minus 6y would give us minus 2y. On the other side, 5 minus 6 would give us minus 1. We want to find y, so we divide both sides by negative 2. Anything that we do to one side of the equation, we also do it to the other side of the equation. We divide both sides rather by negative 2. All right, let us split the board in two again. And dividing both sides by negative 2 will give us y on this side, and the two negatives, a negative divided by a negative, let us use a cursor, a negative divided by a negative would give us a positive. So we will have y is equal to a half. But let us remember that we're working with dollars. So we're going to multiply a half by a dollar. And everyone knows that a half of a dollar is 50 cents. So y is equal to 50 cents. And in our next slide, let's complete this here first. Y is equal to 50 cents. In our next slide, we will solve for x. X. Let us look at the second step, which is step 2. So we say step 2 is to substitute. What do we substitute? We're going to substitute y is equal to 50 cents. And we're going to use equation 1. We write back equation 1. Equation 1 would be 3x plus 4y is equal to 5. So anywhere that we see y, we're going to put 50 cents, so 0.5. So we put back the 3x, back our plus sign, put back the number 4, then in bracket, we put 50 cents. We all know that 4 multiplied by 50 cents would give us $2. This side we put back over 5. We put here 3x. This now becomes plus 2. And we put back the equal sign, equal 5. So again, we split the board in two. So on this side, we'll have 3x, and then we're going to carry over the 2 over the equal sign. So it's going to be 5 minus 2. So the 2 now becomes a negative 2 because it goes over the equal sign. So on this side, we have 3x is equal 3. Divide both sides by 3. Anything you do to one side of the equation, you do to the other. Why did we divide both sides by 3? We want to cancel the 3 to find the value of x. So x is equal to 1, which is $1. So we're going to complete by saying, therefore, this is a therefore sign that we will use this time around. X is equal to $1, and y is equal to 50 cents. And that's the solution of how we can utilize simultaneous equation, or we can apply it in the real world. Let us look at some takeaways from tonight's class. Number one, always name or label the equations by numbering them. Then use steps as a guide to the solution. The steps help you as you go along, and it shows the examiner or whoever is looking at your math that you have a understanding of what you are doing. Then number three, use the easier method to solve the equation. It saves on time. So look at the equation and decide if it's easier to use the substitution method or the elimination method. As I said in the slides, we do not want any traffic or anything to take up our time. Then you can also do, which we didn't look at tonight, but you could do a quick test of the solution. You can plug in the values of x and y into the equation to see if it holds. Before we close tonight, just remember that you can hit that subscribe button at any time. You can like or you can share these videos from the channel Education Unlimited. Our next topic in algebra would be expansion. We will also look after that at factorization. And lastly, we will look at the subject of the formula. I hope that you appreciate algebra and its application as we go along. And I hope that we had fun and you enjoyed tonight's class. The great advantage with the online platform, you can replay these videos at any time to get a deeper and a better understanding as we go through these math concepts. Remember, like, share, and subscribe. Have a very good night.